dreams. I walk free in the city streets. 2,500 days plus 50 weeks, doing hard time for these WikiLeaks, trying to bring the truth out. Man, it only gets you heat, and then they gag you. You don't get to speak, and when you get the leak, they try to hit delete. The masses of the masses, they want the shit discreet. That's why my middle finger's up to these sick elites. Free speech, it's the freedom of press. Take your deepest, darkest secrets, never leave them unsaid. If I'm a thief, then I'm a thief for the people you dread. The people up the red, bottom blue, you keep them in bed. Seeing the sheep, keep them asleep, deceiving the weak. Keep seeking the leaks till you cease, and I see your defeat. Until I'm deceased underneath a freezing red sheet. Become a dead man, then I hit the switch and release. When Goldman Sachs is your creditor, you kill the messenger. Stories axed by the editor, you kill the messenger. Pay to play on the regular, you kill the messenger. Need to silence any questioners, you kill the messenger. And outside my window a figure quickly creeps. They dark as night like some motherfucking chimney sweeps. Whiskey what my Mickey keeps, dying in my kidneys weak. Silence of my risky tweets is what the grand jury seeks. I'm wanting peace like 7 years in Tibet. Now rest in peace like 7 years under threat. Cause I've released 7 vaults, they upset. They under the rape sentence, but the US still insists to rest. I guess it's a sin to take the truth and disseminate. MLK to Gandhi, take aim and eliminate. And I don't say I'm great, just wanna say what's fake. But if they kill me, a million others with darkness. When Goldman Sachs is your creditor, you kill the messenger. Stories axed by the editor, you kill the messenger. Pay to play on the regular, you kill the messenger. Need to silence any questioners, you kill the messenger. When the vote count is irregular, you kill the messenger. You caught spying on a senator, you kill the messenger. Removing voters from the register, you kill the messenger. Need to silence any questioners, you kill the messenger. Outside my window a figure quickly creeps. They dark as night like some motherfucking chimney sweeps. Whiskey what my Mickey keeps, dying in my kidneys weak. Silence of my risky tweets is what the grand jury seeks. I'm wanting peace like 7 years in Tibet. Now rest in peace like 7 years under threat. Cause I've released 7 vaults, they upset. They ended the rape sentence, but the US still insists to rest. I guess it's a sin to take the truth and disseminate. MLK to Gandhi, take him and eliminate. And I don't say I'm great, just wanna say what's fake. But if they kill me, a million others will take my place. The CIA's post like a knife the sharpest. All hypocrisy, lies, and heartless. They want to stop me, my life, make my heart quit. Cause democracy dies in the darkness. Cause democracy dies in the darkness. feeling sold out, even though I'm keeping strong. But can I hold out when every bit of freedom's gone? They want me rolled out, never to sing freedom song. I wanna see the sky, I wanna feel the rain, but gotta keep away from windows, that's some window pane. It's just a shame, couldn't have planned out all our dreams. Now I scream, cause there's a man in the machine, but the train is off the tracks, and damn, it's losing steam. I wanna call Christine, I haven't seen since 013. I'm missing life like 3 strikes each night. Seems like 3 nights ain't right. Can't fight, space light, hate life, wanting to be snake-like, shutting off this gray life. In the dark, can't make light, but where I'm headed now is brake lights. Where I'm headed now, they brake lights. Counting days like brake lights, feeling weight like brake lights. Had a great life, brake lights, brake lights, brake lights. Out of place like brake lights, in my face like brake lights. Counting days like brake lights, brake lights, brake lights. Sit here, ask, love, embrace, and if I could just speak to you now, I'd renew my vow and be in the now. Is this me in denial? Wanna remove stress from your brow and pay you back some way, somehow. But it's painted black, can see the way back now. But how's the house and how's your mom? I doubt the way the media portrays me makes you hate me. But to think you see that daily makes me crazy, that just ain't me.
This is without a doubt going to be this generation's Free Mandela movement. Every single generation must fight again the same battles that previous generations have fought.
Brake lights, counting days like brake lights, 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 brake lights. hard time for these WikiLeaks trying to bring the truth out. Man, it only gets you heat, and then they gag you. You don't get to speak, and when you get the leak, they try to hit delete. The masses of the masses, they want the shit discreet. That's why my middle finger's up to these sick elites. Free speech, it's the freedom of press. Take your deepest, darkest secrets, never leave them unsaid. If I'm a thief, then I'm a thief for the people you dread. The people of the red, white and blue, you keep them in bed. Seeing the sheep, keep them asleep, deceiving the weak. Keep seeking the leaks till you cease, and I see your defeat. Until I'm deceased underneath a freezing red sheet. Become a dead man, then I hit the switch and release. When Goldman Sachs is your creditor, you kill the messenger. Stories axed by the editor, you kill the messenger. Pay to play on the regular, you kill the messenger. Need to silence any questioners, you kill the messenger. And outside my window a figure quickly creeps. They dark as night like some motherfucking chimney sweeps. Whiskey with my Mickey keeps dying in my kidneys weak. Silence of my risky tweets is what grand jury seeks. I'm wanting peace like 7 years in Tibet. Now rest in peace like 7 years under threat. Cause I've released 7 vaults, they upset. They under the rape sentence, but the US still insists to rest. I guess it's a sin to take the truth and disseminate. MLK to Gandhi, take aim and eliminate. And I don't say I'm great, just wanna say what's fake. But if they kill me, a million others will take my place. This democracy, lies, and heartless. They want to stop me, my life, make my heart quit. Cause democracy dies in the darkness. When Goldman Sachs is your creditor, you kill the messenger. Stories axed by the editor, you kill the messenger. Pay to play on the regular, you kill the messenger. Need to silence any questioners, you kill the messenger. When the vote count is irregular, you kill the messenger. You caught spying on a senator, you kill the messenger. Removing voters from the register, you kill the messenger. Need to silence any questioners, you kill the messenger. Time for these WikiLeaks trying to bring the truth out. Man, it only gets you heat, and then they gag you. You don't get to speak, and when you get the leak, they try to hit delete. The masses of the masses, they want the shit discreet. That's why my middle finger's up to these sick elites. Playing on the regular, you kill the messenger. Free speech is the freedom of press. Take your deepest, darkest secrets, never leave them unsaid. If I'm a thief, then I'm a thief for the people you dread. The people want the red, white and blue, you keep them in bed. Seeking the sheep, keep them asleep, deceiving the weak. Keep seeking the leaks till you cease, and I see your defeat. Until I'm deceased underneath a freezer red sheet. Become a dead man, then I hit the switch and release. When Goldman Sachs is your creditor.
Okay.
There. And now we're live.
Oh, hello, everybody.
Well, it'll take a few seconds for it to get through to the Wikibee, but...
Oh, well, welcome to Wikibee session 21. Working with Unity for J to help Julian Assange. And
it says live stream offline. What?
You're live now?
Just hang on a second.
Well,
oh God.
Now it's gone green again.
We're having some technical difficulties. Sorry, people. I'm not sure if we're live, but I heard that we were live on the YouTube. So
yeah,
I'm suspecting that we're live, but hold on for a minute because our tech people are just checking the situation.
Dreams, I walk free in the city streets. 2,500 days plus 50 weeks, doing hard time for these WikiLeaks, trying to bring the truth out. Man, it only gets you heat, and then they gag you. You don't get to speak, and when you get the leak, they try to hit delete. The masses of the masses, they want the shit discreet. That's why my middle finger's up to these sick elites. Free speech, it's the freedom of press. Take your deepest, darkest secrets, never leave them unsaid. If I'm a thief, then I'm a thief for the people you dread. The people up the red, bottom blue, you keep them in bed. Seeing the sheep, keep them asleep, deceiving the weak. Keep seeking the leaks till you cease, and I see your defeat. Until I'm deceased underneath a freezing red sheet. Become a dead man, then I hit the switch and release. When Goldman Sachs is your creditor, you kill the messenger. Stories axed by the editor, you kill the messenger. Pay to play on the regular, you kill the messenger. Need to silence any questioners, you kill the messenger. And outside my window a figure quickly creeps. They dark as night night like some motherfucking chimney sweeps. Whiskey with my Mickey keeps dying in my kidneys weak. Silence in my risky tweets is what the grand jury seeks. I'm wanting peace like 7 years in Tibet. Now rest in peace, cause I've released 7 vaults, but the US still insists to rest. I guess emanate MLK to Gandhi. Don't say I'm great, just wanna say what's fake. This will take my place. The CIA's post like a knife the sharpest. All hypocrisy, lies, and heartless. They want to stop me, my life make my heart quit. Cause democracy dies in the darkness. When Goldman Sachs is your creditor, you kill the messenger. Stories axed by the editor, you kill the messenger. Pay to play on the regular, you kill the messenger. Need to silence any questioners, you kill the messenger. When the vote count is irregular, you kill the messenger. You caught spying on a senator, you kill the messenger. Removing voters from the register, you kill the messenger. Need to silence any questioners, you kill the messenger. In my dreams, I walk free in the city streets. 2,500 days plus 50 weeks. Doing hard time for these WikiLeaks. Trying to bring the truth out, man, it only gets you heat. And then they gag you, you don't get to speak. And when you get the leak, they try to hit the leak. The masters of the masses, they want this shit to street. That's why my middle finger's up to these sick elites. Playing on the regular, you kill the messenger. Free speech is the freedom of press. Take your deepest, darkest secrets, never leave them unsaid. If I'm a thief, then I'm a thief for the people you dread. The people want the red, why the blue you keep them in bed. Seeking the sheep, keep them asleep, deceiving the weak. Keep seeking the leech till you cease, and I see your defeat. Until I'm deceased underneath a freeze of red sheep. Become a dead man, then I hit the switch and release. When Goldman Sachs is your creditor, you kill the messenger. Outside my window, a figure quickly creeps. They dark as night like some motherfucking chimney sweeps. Whiskey with my Mickey keeps dying in my kidneys weak. Silence in my risky tweets is what the grand jury seeks. I'm wanting peace like 7 years in Tibet. Now rest in peace like 7 years under threat. Cause I've released 7 vaults, they upset, they ended the rape sentence. But the US still insists to rest. I guess it's a sin to take the truth and disseminate. MLK to Gandhi, take him and eliminate. And I don't say I'm great, just wanna say what's fake. But if they kill me, a million others will take my place. The CIA's post like a knife the sharpest. All hypocrisy, lies, and heartless. They want to stop me, my life make my heart quit. Cause democracy dies in the darkness. Cause democracy dies in the darkness. You kill the messenger. You kill the messenger. Democracy dies in the darkness. Darkness. rain, but gotta keep away from windows, that's some window pane. It's just a shame, couldn't have planned out all our dreams. Now I scream, cause there's a man in the machine, but the train is off the tracks, and damn, it's losing steam. I wanna call Christine, I haven't seen since 013. I'm missing life like 3 strikes each night. Seems like 3 nights ain't right. Can't fight, space light, hate life, wanting to be snake-like, shedding off this gray life. In the dark can't make light, but where I'm headed now is brake lights. Where I'm headed now they break lights. Counting days like brake lights, feeling weight like brake lights. Had a great life, brake lights, brake lights, brake lights. Out of place like brake lights, in my face like brake lights. Counting days like brake lights, brake lights. Sit here asking, what have I done? If these strings were cut, I'd see my son. And if I could just fly from this place, then I'd hold you in my love embrace. And if I could just speak to you now, I'd renew my vow and be in the now. Is this me in denial? Wanna remove stress from your brow and pay you back some way, somehow. But it's painted black, can see the way back now. But how's the house and how's your mom? I doubt the way the media portrays me makes you hate me. But to think you see that daily makes me crazy, that just ain't me.
This is without a doubt going to be this generation's Free Mandela movement. Every single generation must fight again the same battles that previous generations have fought.
Brake lights, counting days like brake lights, 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 brake lights.
Okay, so I've got desktop audio switched on.
Yeah, good. Now we're ready.
Okay. So shall I transition to the scene where Bruce is and there's, I don't know who, I think that's Jose on the left.
Are you with us, Jose?
Hello, all. How are you?
Very good, thanks.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
Just make
I was
sure
looking
the
at
Zoom gets maximized. The Zoom needs to be keep maximized. You keep on minimizing it and moving it out the way. Use Alt Tab or to switch between windows. Don't minimize it. It needs to stay full screen. Otherwise, none of this shows on the screen.
Okay, I've got it maximized.
Yeah, and so yeah, you should be able to see in OBS. You should be able to see the gallery view with what, 3 of us, hopefully.
Yes, I can. Now I've got to transition to it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, give us 5 seconds warning, and we'll kick off into that.
All right. So I'm ready to do that. So
all right.
Bruce is happy.
Are we going live?
Yes, Bruce. Are you ready?
Yeah. Count me down. Yeah.
Okay. So
you just need to hit the transition, and
okay.
We'll be live.
I'm doing that now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome everyone to WikiBees number 21. We've had a few technical difficulties as is usual. We're still finding our feet and making our way around, but hopefully you're all watching us, and the stream is good quality. We've switched to 20 frames a second and a 2-second keyframe interview. So we should be a good quality stream on both the YouTube and the Periscope. And I'm joined here by Jose and Bruce and Kitty, and we've got a few helpers in the background as well. So it's fantastic to have you all along, Bruce. And so tell us, Bruce, what's on the agenda today?
Yes. We'll be talking with, first of all, we'll be talking with Jose Rivera, direct from Ecuador. Ecuador, of course, is the country that's sheltering Julian Assange in the Ecuadorian Embassy, London. And unfortunately, the country is in a terrible situation. It's deteriorated with the new president. And Jose has been keeping up with that. And it's wonderful to hear from Jose. So we'll start with that. And then we're going to, maybe Kathy Vaughan, who's a video expert, but certainly to talk about upping our video game, particularly what I would love to do is to do very short video clips in MP4 format that can go in tweets, and to do that on a massive scale.
Yeah, certainly. I've had a few being fed my way through some of the video team who have been cutting down segments. So it'll be good to get a few more of those out there, because it is great. I don't know how many are actually watching us on the Periscope at the moment, but having native video on Twitter is a good experience. You don't have to open up other things. You can even watch it mobile. So it's good to have that sort of short, snappy stuff. And certainly there's bits of news and some really good quotations and things from the sessions, which end up turning into a bit of a vigil. So yeah, I should be on our next WikiBees, the one on the Saturday. I should be able to do a few actual WikiBeing things. I know, Bruce, you've been working on some flyers.
Oh yeah.
And I have to spend some time on the computer and get that all wired up and working, so that people can request. You can print out flyers with an email address and a web address, and from that you can get more flyers.
That's the thing, yeah.
On the wall behind you. Yeah, that's the one. so yeah, we need to get that that up and working. So that's one of the things on my WikiBees on list I want to do and get done. But
thank you.
Yeah, I'll leave it in leave this session mostly in your hands because I need to pop back to my place of employment, and it would be good to see what comes of it. It was fantastic the other day hearing from on the ground at the embassy in London. That was just from Karen and the folks. There was some inspiring words, and good to hear some of the history and the what was happening and what led to there. And I love some of those a cappella clips, Black Boys on Mopeds and some of that. Fantastic. It was a fantastic session. I was glad to be part of it. So we should see what's happening out there and hear from Jose and the rest of them.
Yeah. Oh, there's one thing. So today is the 6th of December, certainly in New Zealand. And in the rest of the world, it's the 5th of December. But on the 7th of December is the 8th anniversary of Julian Assange's arbitrary detainment. As ruled twice by the United Nations, he's been arbitrarily detained for 8 years. This Saturday, 7th of December.
So that's tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow for us, but for the rest of the world, I don't think it's tomorrow.
Yeah, well, sorry, tomorrow late moves into early. So we're also running our vigil coming up this weekend or this Friday.
Yes,
aren't we? So that's certainly imminent. And we'll have Joe Lauria and a bunch of guests like we do typically in the vigil. And this, I don't know if you've caught it, live on our website actually is, in fact, Bruce, do you want to
I can do a screenshot if you want, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool to share that. Sorry, a bit of traffic noise here. We put out a press release just the other day, and that's available on unity4j.com #media. And well, hash. So there's
/media or
hash. So
okay.
Unity4J. If you just scroll down to the media section, that's
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll screen share that for you. Let's see.
Yeah. It may be good to just read through that because that's got the details of our next event. And I'm getting a battery low message from my my ear.
Yeah.
So if you just read through that, I'll change that. Yeah, if you just zoom in a little. Yeah. I'm going to read that out.
Yeah, so this is a press release for immediate release from Tuesday, December the 4th, 2018. So that was 2 days ago, more or less, depending on where you are. And Unity4J announces weekly online vigils in response to escalating threats to Julian Assange. So we've been doing vigils once a month, and due to the escalating threats, it's changing to once a week. And the first one is this Friday, the 7th of December, 8th anniversary of the 8th anniversary of Julian Assange's beginning of his arbitrary detainment. So I just read the long suspected indictment against WikiLeaks publisher Julian Assange by the United States for his journalistic activities has finally come to light. That was about 2.5 weeks ago, I think, or 3 weeks ago. And now many mainstream journalists are waking up to the inherent dangers to press freedom that accompany his ongoing persecution. So he's been charged for being a publisher, basically. In the US, he's wanted for being a publisher. And the Obama administration was seeking to prosecute him, and then the lawyers all told them that they can't do that without also prosecuting the New York Times and the Washington Post. So reading on. Despite this, state-level pressure on the Ecuadorian government, that refers to the US mainly, I think, to drive him out of its embassy in London continues. Thus, the Unity for J movement is increasing the frequency of its online vigils. And other vigils are done with Consortium News, particularly Joe Lauria, in support of the arbitrarily detained publisher. So the frequencies increased from monthly to weekly. And the vigils will be every Friday from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time, New York time, or hosted by Joe Lauria, Editor-in-Chief of Consortium News, starting this Friday, December the 7th. And it goes on to say that the support for Julian has sprung up, and some catalyst for that was an urgent message from Julian's mother, Christine Assange, and other high-profile supporters such as Pamela Anderson, Glenn Greenwald, Chris Hedges, and Roger Waters. You would have seen those in the news, and it's really helping Julian. So thanks to those people. Julian Assange has been arbitrarily detained in the UK for 8 years. Will be exactly 8 years on the next vigil Friday. 6 of which he has spent as a political refugee in Ecuador's embassy in London. That's where he is now. This is what I was saying before. The United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has ruled that he should be immediately freed and compensated. Twice, they ruled that, twice. And the Inter-American Court of Human Rights has ruled that the UK must facilitate safe passage for him. I don't know, do you know anything about that, Joe?
Well, certainly that's been the hints and the rumours, and everything seems to be building up towards something might be happening. And yes, we've had emergencies where it looked like it was going to happen that week, and they've pulled back again. So I think as long as we keep our voice up, it might not happen before Christmas. So yeah, certainly that's where the next paragraph comes in, that it's more important than ever to defend Julian and WikiLeaks. Yeah. So I think our voices certainly do help. Yeah. If there is a popular outcry, certainly it's not going to happen, right?
Yes. So last paragraph. Unity for J is a global mass movement in solidarity with Julian Assange, created in response to Ecuador's gagging of the publisher. That was at the end of March this year. Unity for J has been endorsed by more than 50 high-profile activists, journalists, celebrities, academics, and former US intelligence officials. Excuse me. I've got a bit of a tickle today. Excuse me, people, if that intervenes from time to time. So these high-profile activists include Chris Hedges, the journalist, Jimmy Dore, the comedian activist, Ray McGovern, and Bill Binney from the intelligence community, and the grandfather of all whistleblowers, Daniel Ellsberg of the Pentagon Papers, a legend. Spread the word.
It's fantastic to have those, well, high-profile activists, journalists, celebrities, academics, and the like on our vigils. And certainly we should see some reasonably high-profile names in the upcoming vigil as well. WikiBees is about the Unity for J supporters and people on the ground, sort of showing what we're up to and what we're doing. But it's certainly great when some of these more high-profile figures and people with a greater reach and a greater voice, and over 50 of them. And you can see that on unityforj.com under our participant section. All the people that have participated in our vigils, and all of them have signed up and said, hey, we're going to stand in solidarity, we're going to stand in unity with Julian.
Yes.
So yeah, that's good stuff.
Yes. And it goes on with a contact list. So the important thing is you can see that for yourself by going to unityforj.com and just using the hashtag. What was the hashtag again, Joe? You're muted. Actually, you can just go to unityforj.com, which is this site, and you just scroll down it, right?
Yep, that's the way.
Scheduled event line. You go to media.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Go to media and press on the latest. Click on the latest press release. Great.
And certainly, I think people have tweeted that out as well. So certainly Susie has. So check it out. Check it out if you need to read it again.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been tweeted out on Twitter as well, on our Twitter account.
Yes. Yes. All right. Move on to Jose in Ecuador, if that's okay. This might be a problem today. I don't know. I've got a real tickle in my throat.
You've been waiting for over an hour, Jose. It's fantastic to have you aboard, and thank you for living through our technical issues and all the things. We will get this a bit more polished and a bit more thing. It's just it can be a bit difficult getting it all together on mobile.
I can imagine, yes.
Anyway, fantastic. Bruce, carry on.
Yeah, so Jose, it's always wonderful to have you from Ecuador. Should we start from the start with the basic introduction that we try to do every time of someone who's not familiar with the situation in Ecuador?
Yes, in 2017, Lenín Moreno and Jorge Glass won the elections and for Ecuador, and the presidential inauguration was on the 24th of May, 2017.
Okay.
And a few months later, Lenín Moreno sent to jail his vice president, Glass.
Wow.
And replaced Vice President Glass with Maria Vicuña.
Yes.
And then Glass was convicted to 6 years of prison with no evidence whatsoever. So he was moved recently to a high security prison, and Vice President Glass decided to go on a hunger strike. And now they are going to move him again. That's what we're here this December. We think probably he's going to be being moved on Christmas night, on the 24th of December at night, probably in the early hours. That's my speculation.
Yes.
And the prison in Guayaquil is called the Rock, and it's very dangerous, very, very dangerous, because it's full of criminals there. and is mosquito infested. It's very hot, no water, no toilets. So it's quite it's obvious that Lenin Moreno wants to kill Glass, Vice
As
President
vice
Glass.
president, former
Yeah,
vice president, yes.
yeah. I just learned today that some time ago there were some threats to Glass life from the jail, because you
Yes.
see at the jail the corruption of the jail officers is very high, and a lot of the inmates at the jail have cell phones.
Yes.
They have drugs. They have everything. So
Yeah. And
so
I'd say,
yes.
So the new president of about 18 months, Lenin Moreno, is doing something crazy with his vice president, but that's just part of the story.
Right. Yes.
Well, how would you characterize him?
Well, he is, he's a selfish, fascist, person. He doesn't care for the life of anybody, because
so how did
if
he get elected?
Well, he fooled us all, because he was the vice president for Rafael Correa for 10 years, and there was never even a sign of anything that Lenin Moreno was, suspicious in any way. Nothing. No worse. Nothing.
So Rafael Correa was very popular, and on the left, really, wasn't he? And he's the one who granted asylum to Julian Assange in June of 2012, when the US was after him, and he was in big trouble. So the new president basically got himself elected on false pretenses, on a platform that he's doing the opposite of. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
He won because of our votes. If we hadn't voted for him, he wouldn't have won.
Yes. And the relevance, of course, to Julian Assange, as the previous president was a big supporter of Julian Assange. He gave him asylum. They also did an interview, which was a fantastic interview.
Yes.
So there was obviously strong mutual in them. But the new president is a different story. The new president doesn't like Julian Assange. He's described him as a stone in his shoe, a leftover from, well, not his words, but he thinks he's a leftover from the Correa administration. And and all signs are that he wants to hand him over to the United States government. Particularly,
yes, exactly.
Particularly the intelligence agencies, who are really the ones who want Julian Assange, aren't they?
Yes. So going back to the scandal of the false news by the Guardian that there was a meeting between Manafort and Lenin Moreno, that the Guardian falsely said that they talked about Assange, and which is well, I shouldn't have said falsely, because they did talk about Assange. I was referring to something else. So now Lenin Moreno is denying that he ever talked to Manafort about Assange.
Manafort is well, he was
Manafort.
a campaign advisor for President.
Right. So if you look at the dates, because Manafort came here in May of 2017, and Lenin Moreno took office on the 24th of May, which means that he came on the last week of May. So you know, remember the economic hitman guy, John Perkins? He wrote the economic hitman. He said that he said that as soon as the new presidents of Latin America became presidents, they would soon have a visit from a U.S. Economic advisor, offering them money, and as long as they sign a paper where they say, that they are going to give away the country. So Manafort, I think he was a hitman, the economic hitman.
So how much of this is confirmed and how much is speculation? Is it confirmed that Manafort visited just in the week after Moreno became president?
Yes, because Moreno became president on the 24th. He took office on the 24th of May. So, yes. Right. So you only have 1 week left over in May, So Manafort must have been on the last week of May of 2017 visiting. So now I just realized, that Manafort was a hitman, economic hitman. He came to do the deal, for the United States.
Does Manafort acknowledge that he visited then?
Yes, and Lenin Moreno, issued the official communication that he recognizes. Today's paper recognized that it was in May of 2017 that Manafort came.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Lenin Moreno recognized today that he came on May. So that tells you that Manafort was the economic hitman. He came with a proposition to Lenin Moreno, to give away all the Ecuador properties, and gifts to United States. So, and we all know the history of Paul Manafort. When he was in Ukraine, he also did all this, all this type of work, and so it is uneducated speculation that we are doing, that he came to do the same thing. He came to do, to make a business deal with Lenin Moreno. Yes. It's very clear now. It's very clear.
Yes.
So it appears that the link, that business, how did Manafort got invited to come to the Lenin Moreno's office? There is a lady called Yvonne Baki. She was all before an Ecuadorian official for Correa, but she was working behind Chevron, on of Chevron. Correa didn't know that, but we just discovered that she had been doing, work for a Chevron, and she is the one who, I think, she is the link for the Manafort-Lenin Moreno link meeting.
Yes. So you're starting to piece together. There were also meetings, as I remember, Vice President of the US, Mike Pence, also met with the new president of Ecuador.
Yeah. I just finished the translating a few minutes ago the latest communique that Lenin Moreno put out about a couple of hours ago. And there, Lenin Moreno says very clearly that he had only one meeting. But actually, I think the New York Times says that there were two meetings, at least two meetings. So Lenin Moreno is lying there. And so after that, you know, came Pence. Yes. So I think Manafort talked to Lenin Moreno about you know, an economic plan, but it was not to, because if he came 3 times to the presidential office of Lenin Moreno, Manafort, that means that they talked at a good length, you know.
Yes.
So because Lenin Moreno in today's official communications, that they just talked about a business investment proposition that the Chinese were making, but he told them right away that he couldn't sell them what they wanted because it was unconstitutional. So,
is this in your tweets? Is this in your tweets?
No, this is the latest communication. I just finished translating it. Yeah, but that's what it says. He just talked about that, and he told them he couldn't sell them, you know, the electrical companies and everything. So that talk, according to Lenin, couldn't have lasted for half an hour, you know.
Yes.
But you see, they
allowed the CIA or the military back on a big military base in Ecuador that the previous.
Actually, yeah, he opened the airport for one surveillance plane that the United States is sending to the city of Guayaquil, to the airport of the city of Guayaquil. So that, you know, that's just you know, that's just the beginning, I think. And they also opened an office of security with a security agreement. The United States opened an office in Quito.
Yes.
So I am sure they it's, you know, they brought a lot of, you know, officers of different type. So
yes.
So, you know, it's they are hiding it, but most of us know that, you know, that office is just it's just the tip of the iceberg, you know.
Yes.
Yes. So following the history, so Glass is in danger. Vice President Glass is in danger now, and unfortunately, the vice president that Lenin Moreno chose, Maria Vicuña, just resigned yesterday because of corruption. Oh. Yes. So
she was holding on, wasn't she?
Yes, yes. But you see, the whole campaign of persecution done by Lenin Moreno since he started his government was based on corruption. All the legal accusations in court that he has done to ex-officials of Rafael Correa are based on corruption charges.
Yes.
But we all knew that they were just bogus charges to put him in jail. So now Lenin Moreno is in big problems because he chose a corrupt vice president, and we have been denouncing her for several months already, and there was never an investigation.
So you accept that she is corrupt?
Yes. So, but this in just a week, Lenin Moreno also, we showed evidence that Lenin Moreno is also corrupt. he received a gift from an investor. So now he cannot use corruption as his main, mode of campaign.
Yes.
Because he is corrupt too. So the interior minister came out on TV to say that those living room furnitures that Lenín Moreno received as a gift from an investor were just from a friend. So, and they left it at that. There's no investigation ongoing. So that's and also there is a rumor. I can say it here in English because Ecuadorians are not listening. There is a rumor that something is going to happen at the end of December. That Lenín Moreno is probably going to escape to Europe or the United States. We don't know that. So that's where the danger comes for Assange and Glass. That's where the real danger comes, because if he is replaced by the right wingers, believe me, Assange is going to problems.
So yes, I'm having a little bit of trouble sorting out the political landscape of Ecuador because Correa was so popular.
Yes.
And he was a left-wing president.
Yes.
A nationalist also.
Yes.
So has his support base just crumbled?
Who, Correa's or Lenín Moreno?
Correa's?
No, it's as strong as ever. But we are blocked by Lenín Moreno to form a political party. Lenín Moreno blocked our participation in the electoral system. He's not recognizing our party. So in the next elections, there won't be any progressives going, in 2019 elections.
When you say our party, is that the party of President Correa?
Well, no, it's called Revolución Ciudadana, Citizen Revolution. So, but Rafael Correa is just a main leader, but it's it is not his party. He's just our main leader. That's all, because there are other leaders that that could take his place.
But Correa supports this party.
Right. I mean, he's our main leader. He is the guy who keeps us together.
Okay. So again, I'll go basic stuff. So you're not showing your face because it's a dangerous situation for you,
right?
And it's a dangerous situation for journalists and politicians. And Correa, the former president, up until May of 2017, is now in Belgium, in Europe, seeking asylum.
Right.
Yes. But he tweets a lot still about Ecuador.
Yes.
And he's facing charges back in Ecuador, isn't he? Set up by the new president.
Yeah, he has like 15 lawsuits. Yes. And the latest lawsuit was created by Fernando Villavicencio, the CIA guy in Ecuador. So
are these so these are civil lawsuits, are they, or are they
civil lawsuits? Corruption.
Civil.
They are all corruption. Yes.
So if he has civil lawsuits, He's not going to be arrested for a civil lawsuit if he comes back to
No,
Ecuador?
here in Ecuador is different. If you owe, for example, some,
Yes.
you can be arrested. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and government officials that have broken the law are processed a little different. The judge can immediately order your arrest.
Oh, that's important to know. Has it
Yes.
always been like that?
Yes, yes.
So,
historically, that's what it has been.
Oh, yes. So you're familiar with in the Western system. I'm from New Zealand. There's a very clear distinction between civil cases and criminal cases.
Right.
The criminal cases are carried out by the state on behalf of the Queen. And yeah, in New Zealand, a judge, I don't think, can send you to prison on the basis of a civil case. There's no chance of that. Okay, so that's the reason that Correa's away. And wow. So actually, Jose, I'll show you a Twitter account since you're not showing your face anyway. And I encourage people to follow this if they're interested in Ecuador, and then we can talk a little bit about Julian Assange also. So I'll just share this. I'll do a screen share. So this is your account, SIGUEM, and then Ecuador. And you tweet a lot of political issues, and I'll just show you, I suppose, your latest tweet, 46 days of hunger strike by Jorge Glass. You talked about him a bit before. Oh, this is the name of the new prison that you were talking about, I think. I'll just translate this tweet. Lenin wants to kill Glass. They report that Glass suffered fainting and cardiac arrhythmia in the prison, I suppose. He can no longer walk. You already reported this on the previous vigil, like
Yes.
4 days ago, I think.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if we're getting the whole story. That, I mean, is he still alive?
Yes. Well, remember that about a month and a half ago, he was taken to the hospital, and he was fed there, intravenously, so with an IV. So the hunger strike starts a month and a half ago, almost. So there you have it.
Yes, yes.
And I have started also my attacks on Fernando Villavicencio, the CIA guy. He has started an intense campaign of public relations. He wants to look good to the Ecuadorian people, but I'm on top of him now. So
he's a prominent figure in Ecuador?
Yes, because the media made him prominent. No, nobody ever questioned his false evidence.
How long ago did he become prominent?
Oh, he's been attacking Rafael Correa since he started, like more than 10 years ago.
And Rafael Correa became president in 2010?
2006. 2006.
Oh, 2006. Okay.
Yeah, around 2006, yes.
And okay. just trying to understand, and also going through your Twitter feed. I'll show this clip because it's quite interesting.
Yes. That was. Oh,
I think I have to stop share and start share again.
That's.
So that I can hear the sound.
Yeah, that was Lenin Moreno's visit to Mexican president's inauguration day.
Yes. What do you think of the new Mexican president?
What was that?
What do you think of the new Mexican president?
I heard all his speech.
Yes.
And he is very similar to Rafael Correa.
Excellent.
Yes. Oh yes, he's very similar.
Yes, it's amazing. I mean, in the Americas, I mean, the changes in politics are so sudden because Brazil's gone the other way.
Yes.
And Ecuador's gone the other way. But some hope from Mexico.
Yes. But you see, Lopez Obrador, he would have been the president a long time ago. But they committed fraud to block him from being the president.
Really?
Yes.
So he was very popular.
Oh yes, he was very popular, and finally, the Mexican right wing, could not stop the big wave. You know, it was just too much for them. So.
Okay, so at his inauguration, your president, Lenin Moreno, went down to Mexico for the ceremony. I suppose he was obliged to attend.
He was invited to them.
Yes. And this is the crowd in Mexico. Play it with the sound up. He's in a wheelchair, the new president.
Yes, he's just arriving there.
So is this the airport, is that?
No, the presidential palace.
Oh, the presidential palace. So this is the Mexican presidential palace, and he's outside, and here are the people, and he's been the president of Ecuador for about 19 months by now, 18 months.
Yes, around that time, yeah.
So this is Moreno. The past president was Correa, who he's turned on. And what did the crowd say? So this is the crowd chanting. So that's pretty incredible that they're so familiar with Ecuadorian politics. Well, I don't know. These are probably very political people, but and it is saying "Viva Correa, long live Correa," and to the new president who's opposed to Correa. So, yeah, so that was very interesting.
Well, you know, me and other other prominent leaders of our party have been in contact with the progressive media of Mexico. They have invited our leaders to go there and for interviews and talks. So Mexican people, had a few of them, knew, what was happening here. Yes. And they knew with the difference between Correa and Lenin Moreno. So
yes.
So it's important to campaign always, because otherwise, nobody knows what is happening.
Yes.
And everybody assumes that, since nobody's saying anything, everything is okay.
Yes.
But, the power elites, they are always, trying to, subdue the people.
Yes.
With with illegal laws and regulations, and and doing secret stuff so that we don't find out.
Yes.
So that's why Assange and people like him, are very important to the people, because otherwise we would never find out. We would never find out if Assange hadn't published all the Iraq, documents and that video. We would have never found out. The
Yes.
people would have never found out. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why they consider Assange a threat. And
Yes.
that's why they want to silence him. And,
Yes.
Because the United States wants the war machine to keep just working without a stop.
Assange, how well known is Julian Assange in Ecuador?
Not too many people know.
Yeah.
I don't have any statistics. A few people know him by picture, you know. Some know him by the name. They recognize his face and they know his name already. But
yes.
A lot of people don't know him.
Yes. Jose, I'll go back to I'll screen share your tweets again, because you've been tweeting on Julian Assange as well as the other issues you've talked about. And
Yes.
I'll just show that. I'll show you something that I mentioned at the last WikiBees, but I didn't know where it was from. So I researched it and found where it was from. So this is the tweet. It's from WikiLeaks. Can you see it?
Yes.
So the Ecuadorian, where Julian Assange is in asylum at the moment, was sold this year to one of the richest men on the planet. And so this is a scoop from very recent, 30th of November, so just a week ago.
I see.
So this is what I mentioned. In fact, I just seen it, and I think it was, I think it happened in March of this year.
I see.
But so it's Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, president of the UAE and emir of Abu Dhabi, is the one who's bought the embassy where Julian Assange is, the Ecuadorian embassy. So it's the Three Hands Crescent. It's not just the Ecuadorian embassy, but it's a whole. The Ecuadorian embassy, as I understand it, is only 5 rooms, I think, on the ground floor of the building. So it's a crazy situation. It's a very wealthy neighborhood in the center of London, and he bought the freehold. I'm not sure what that means. I mean, how many years or anything, of Three Hands Crescent, which houses the embassies of Ecuador and Colombia, for £100,000. And I thought the property prices in London were crazy. So that seems like a very small amount for a multiple-story building in a very wealthy area.
Yeah, it was probably is a lease of some type, you know, because a building like that must cost millions of pounds, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's probably hitting the lease for, I don't know, several years or a year.
Yeah, freehold lease.
That's my guess, you know, because it is impossible for a building like that to cost 100,000.
Yes. So I don't quite understand it. But so it's a freehold lease, yes. So I don't know what that means in legal terms, but anyway.
Well, whoever holds the lease holds the space. So
yeah, so that scaffolding must have been ordered by this person then.
So the I don't know if whether the rental agreement that Ecuador has, how long it lasts. You know, after, you know, is it renovated every year, or that would be something good to know.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I'll show some more of your tweets. These are. This is 29th of November. You've talked about this. This is the Vice President Jorge
Yes.
Glass. Comrades protested outside the high security prison where he's jailed.
Yes.
And gee, I hope he lives, but he must be very close to death.
Yes.
I
tweeted. Did you see I reading the Fernando Villavicencio have? Did you see how the Inter-American Human Rights Court they are acting, you know, on the U.S. interests? Because Fernando Villavicencio, when he escaped to the United States,
this one,
yes, yeah, when Villavicencio escaped to the United States, to Miami, he filed a petition to the Human Rights Court, and in 2 months they approved his petition. And Glass has been waiting for 6 months of the same petition, and still the court has not moved at all. So, you know,
so you're talking about this?
Yes, that's the one.
This is the one. This is the one, right?
Right. Yeah. So there you have it.
Can you explain it in very simple terms for us?
Yes. Fernando Villavicencio escaped in 2014.
Can you read the tweet
to
first
Miami, Florida? And Fernando Villavicencio, the CIA guy who made the fake news of The Guardian, he wrote an appeal to the Inter-American Courts of Human Rights in March. No, let's see, in January. He made an appeal to the court in January of 2014, and in March, the court approved his petition. Glass did the same petition on June of this year, and already 6 months have passed and nothing, no answer.
So asking for protection.
Yes. So the United States is, you know, it's obvious that the United States influence in this court.
So this court, what powers does the court have?
This is the OAS court, Human Rights Court. You know,
that's the Organization of American States.
Yes, they have a human rights court there, and yes, they resolve human rights issues in Latin America.
Yes. Are they connected with the United Nations?
Right. So there you have it. The Human Rights Court is sleeping on Glass petition. They are not interested in giving our Vice President justice.
Okay.
Here you can see very clearly how the power, you know, of the United States can, you know, influence, you know, courts, I don't know, everywhere.
So the point is, this was obviously political.
Of course. What other? They haven't even responded in any way.
Yes. So they're just keeping quiet. So this, wow, this character Fernando Villavicencio. Vicencio.
Yes.
Villavicencio. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. He appears time and time again in a lot of different contexts. some of them related to Julian Assange, doesn't he?
Yes.
So, so was Rafael Correa arrested him or something like that?
Yes, he had an arrest, and when they had a lawsuit because Villavicencio made up some stories and made it public. So yes. Correa, while being president, he sued Villavicencio yes. and won the lawsuit.
Yes.
So the judge was going to sentence Villavicencio to 7 months in jail. And he escaped to the United States.
Really?
Yes, to Miami. So in Miami, he had all the help from the Cuban exiles.
Yes.
And that's when he filed the petition to the Human Rights Court.
Wow, a very interesting character.
Yes.
Just for people who aren't familiar, I'll try and find that picture. I'm not sure if it's too old. That is the one with the journalists who did the story.
Yeah, I just published that a few days ago.
There it is.
Yes, that's the one. The one of the glasses.
Yes.
Yeah, the one of the glasses right there.
So we're this character in the middle is the one that you've been talking about all the time.
Yes.
I'm not even going to try and say it again. Yes. He works, it's well known that he works for, I think, USA.
Yes.
He officially works for USA, does he? Or
plus, he works for USA and also for the Isaias brothers who defrauded the Ecuadorian people with $100 million. They escaped to Miami with $100 million. And the United States is not allowing the extradition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So really, yes. And this USAID organization that he works for is pretty openly known as a front for the CIA, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this character appears time and time again in your stories, and this story is about Julian Assange because
right, exactly.
The big news, he's with two reporters who work for the Guardian newspaper in Britain and the UK, and they published a story saying that Donald Trump's advisor had been visiting Julian Assange in the embassy. And the story was completely false. It's been ridiculed. It's been spat out. Basically, nobody believes it now. It's such a ridiculous story. For example, the guy who was supposed to have seen Julian Assange, he didn't even have a stamp in his passport for having visited the UK in those years. So it's a totally ridiculous story. There's surveillance everywhere. There is no confirmation of any sort that this story was true. And this guy in the middle, so he's a known forger of documents as well, isn't he?
Oh, yes. Yes. But you see, the media presents him all the time, as a journalist and everything. And,
wow.
And the cases that he files always go to friendly judges. They always go to friendly courts, right? Usually right judges. So the complete works.
Wow.
So he in the other tweet he made, he did say he was with those two journalists from the Guardian 4 months.
Yes.
Doing I don't know what they were probably, trying to plan the information, planning the show that they just did, a few days ago on the Guardian.
Do you see this new window? I'm not sure. I'll stop the share. Hold on, I'll stop the share.
No, I don't see it.
So we'll talk a little bit about this story since it's come up and it relates to Ecuador. We'll let's see. So I just bookmarked a whole lot of tweets relating to this Manafort story. So we'll talk about this in some detail, if that's all right, Jose, because it relates to Ecuador. So this is just a group of tweets, and the history is, I'll see if I can find. So this is the guy, Paul Manafort, who was the presidential advisor, campaign advisor for Donald Trump.
Right.
And The Guardian published the story saying this campaign advisor for Donald Trump had visited the Ecuadorian embassy in London in 2013, 2015, and 2016, and gone inside and talked to Julian Assange on those 3 years. And it's a totally ridiculous, completely fabricated story, as is obvious by now. And the guy himself says, no, that's a load of rubbish. And the guy himself showed his passports that he didn't have any stamps to visit the UK in 2013 or 2015. It's an impossibility, this story. And it's just incredible that a major newspaper, The Guardian, would publish this without any... well, they said it was from anonymous sources. And in the end, it turned out, in the print edition, the third author was this Ecuadorian bad guy that you're talking about, who I can't name. But
I saw the Fernando Villavicencio. That was the guy. He was on the first story they did. His name is there in the page. I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fernando Villavicencio. Yeah, his name was there, along with the other two guys.
And so it's a smear. Yes. So it's a ridiculous story, totally ridiculous story. It's incredible. So what the newspaper is doing is it's smearing Julian Assange, and gee, they must say, we don't mind if we get caught out doing a totally ridiculous story. We got the smear in anyway, because everyone around the world who follows the news has seen this story, the original story that purports to connect Julian Assange to Donald Trump, and it's a fake story.
Right.
And Julian Assange has told WikiLeaks to sue the Guardian newspaper. That's what they've done. This is their GoFundMe, which people are invited to.
You know, I had suggested in the lawsuit they should include this Ecuadorian guy too. You know, because they should include him too, because he is the the main guy here with the fake evidence.
Yeah.
Because you can see he says very clearly that they were 4 months, in meetings.
Yeah.
With those two Guardian journalists. So
you have to wonder why they were there for 4 months.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
That's a long time. Well,
yeah, I know. So I don't know what they were, they were trying to doing. I have no idea. Yeah. Or maybe they have, maybe they have a something that is coming up that we don't know.
Yeah, because 4 months is a long time.
Well,
hanging out with this known CIA guy.
Yeah.
In Ecuador.
Right.
British journalists. Well, using the term loosely, journalists. Yeah. So it's just incredible. And this is a Unity for J Wikibees. I don't know. This is just the background. This is one of the major reasons why Julian Assange is in the news at the moment, is that people are trying to connect him with Donald Trump with a ridiculous story. So I almost don't want to talk about it. It's like it's gained a life of its own, this story.
Oh, yeah. But you see the major media that published the first story has now retracted the story.
Yeah. So the smear works, doesn't it?
Right. Yes. That's what smears, how smears work. They have not retracted the story.
Yes.
So Fox News, people, you know, people who watch Fox News and CNN and all those networks, huge networks,
yeah,
you know, have not retracted.
Wow.
So the fake news stayed as truth.
Yeah. So let's see. I'll just click through the other links to show. It's the RT channel.
Right.
Sues the Guardian over the fake meetings. I'll just go through all the tweets that I got together.
Yeah.
This journalist is a real piece of work. It's like,
oh yeah,
Luke Harding. Oh, this is a tweet from the guy himself.
Yeah, that's what it says. Yeah, that's what it says right there.
So this is the guy himself, the CIA guy.
Yeah.
Hanging out with the two Garland journalists, and this is another journalist, Cristina Solarzano. Do you know
That's
her?
another Ecuadorian. She's being trained to be a good agent.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You see the Ecuadorian guy says very clearly there, they were working for months.
Wow.
During the investigation about Assange with our UK colleagues from The Guardian. That's what it says.
You have to wonder how long it takes to make, you know, why does it take 4 months? Maybe they were just having a holiday. It's a very strange situation all around.
Yes, it is very strange. And my question is, can you call yourself a journalist if you accept money to present to the public false, you know, false information?
Yes. Yeah. All right. I just want to, I'm conscious that I haven't been checking the YouTube comments, and with the setup, I'm not sure people fled from YouTube, but sorry, that's another issue.
See the name, his name, the Ecuadorian name is right there.
Yes, there it is. This is that the third author was this guy Villavicencio.
Yes.
And the truth about him.
That was an excellent article that I recommend people to read. Through investigation about this guy.
Okay, this is about half a year ago, and but it gives a background. So he's so if you're interested in background on this guy,
that's it. You see the guy right there? Can you scroll back to the guy with the glasses, sunglasses?
This guy, yes.
No, the guy. His name is Pasmiño. He is a CIA agent, and he was working for many years for the CIA. And when Correa came into government, they found out about it, and they went to arrest him. And he escaped with a computer that had all the information, and he disappeared for like a month. And I just learned that this guy is now working at the National Assembly. Lenin Moreno gave him a job.
Oh.
Yep. That's his name, Mario Pasmiño, as a real CIA agent.
And he's back in the Ecuadorian government.
Yes, he's back in the Ecuadorian government.
Wow.
He was caught red-handed. He's a retired colonel, I think it is.
Yes, Colonel.
Yes.
It says his name. He was the former head of Army Intelligence.
Ah, there you go. The facts explain for themselves. This article doesn't talk about this guy in length, but you see Villavicencio, this guy. There's a group of people that work directly. See that the picture before, lower a little bit more. No, more.
Oh, lower than this? This guy?
Lower than that. That's the guy. He was a no. That's the friend of Villavicencio.
Not this guy?
No, lower, the lower picture.
Oh, I'm down lower than I've been before. I don't know.
No, there was a bigger of a guy there.
I'll just go back. Are you watching? I don't know. You maybe have a delay. This guy? What's the name? What's the name of the person?
Oh, his name is that's the guy.
Gutierrez.
He was a president of Ecuador. He's a retired military guy. He did a military coup that removed the president of Ecuador a few years ago, and then he was overthrown within a year because he is the one who signed the agreement with the United States to let the United States set up a military base in the airport Panta.
Okay.
This is the guy. You see, this guy, he's also a CIA guy. He's along with a group of 7 military officers that they all work for the United States, and he was educated in the school of that the United States has in Taiwan. See, the United States closed the School of the Americas, but now they have a school in Taiwan. It's kind of secret. It's a kind of a military school. And he, along with other officers, went to that school.
Oh.
Yes, I have information on that school, but they don't give you that much information, over the web. So I haven't been able to find more things about it. So this is another CIA guy, and he was involved in the coup that they tried to overthrow Correa. Remember, a few years back.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
that one was 2010, I think, because there's a photo in here.
Yeah, he is the guy behind it.
Oh, the 2010 coup. So this is a very detailed article about the CIA.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
CIA. Actually, if you go even further down, it's got a whole lot of photos of characters.
Yes.
And then when you get to the bottom, it's got Telesur, the CIA in Ecuador, and it's got links between all of the characters.
Right.
And this guy, his name starts with V. VA should be in here. I don't know. There he is. There he is. So this is the guy who was doing the story on Julian Assange with the Guardian journalists. So, so a bizarre situation.
Oh yes.
And there are rumors that Julian Assange has been sold out. Oh, didn't this Manafort guy say that that Moreno was asking if he could get a loan in exchange for giving up Julian Assange?
Oh yes, Yeah, there was, yeah.
Wow. So it again, it emphasizes Julian Assange's situation is very political.
Oh, yes.
And he was under a friend in the former president, Rafael Correa, and now
Right.
he's not under a friend in the new president. So okay, so this just the last. These are the last tweets about this Manafort. Okay, so that's enough on the Manafort story.
Yeah. So I think I need to go, but I hope that I gave people some information about what's happening in Ecuador. Bye.
We'll get these technical delays worked out.
Yes. I thought, are there any questions, Kitty? And also any people tweeting about WikiBeats? Oh, I haven't been keeping up on the promoting the WikiBeats.
I'm so sorry, I didn't even keep track.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I'll just go back to it and find it for you.
Did I miss that?
It's in YouTube chat from Jerry Alatalo.
Okay.
So actually, I don't have the ability to post it, but you have the ability to post it, don't you, Kitty?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So let's see if I can. So I know what, I'll pass the link to you in Zoom.
Okay.
And then you can pass it on to YouTube. Oh, there's an attendee. Ah, Kathy Vogan's here.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, so Kitty, I'm just posting the link at the moment.
Okay, and I will put it into YouTube chat.
I'll put it, yeah, and people can see it on YouTube. And also, I'll screen share it again so that people can get another look at it.
And what is this, the link for again?
This is the link for the CIA influence in Ecuador. This is the article. It's by someone writing under the pseudonym of Jimmy's Llama.
That's a very good article. I've read that one.
Ah, cool.
Yes.
Kathy. Oh, hello, Kathy.
Hi. Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, that's all right.
Actually, you came right on time because we just finished talking to Jose.
Oh, right. Okay. So, did he have anything new to report?
Oh, yeah. Well, just the situation's developing. You can go back and listen to it. I think is best because
yeah, too long to it.
I forgot his the political standing of Lena Moreno is falling. I think was a large part of it. He's reporting again on Jorge Glass. Just more bad things they want to do to him. They want to move him to an even worse prison than he's in at the moment.
Yeah.
The guy's nearly dead.
Well, I think there's something we should have done already. And I just noticed this, and I downloaded his daily picture where he changes the count of number of days. It's in Spanish and it's got Glass's name on it, but this doesn't make the rest of the world very aware. A Spanish speaking audience. Yes. And so I was thinking, shit, I should do an English version of him, and I don't know, I wanted to talk to him actually. I will contact him about what program he uses to update it, but I could just send him a multi-layered PSD file from Photoshop, and you can update that every day. And of course, there's got to be democratically elected vice president of Ecuador written on it, because the rest of the world doesn't, or in fact, they don't know who it is. So to heighten awareness, it's almost too late though, isn't it? I didn't even think of it, but it was just yesterday that I noticed it wasn't. I mean, I knew it unless they knew Ecuador and Spanish.
Kathy,
yes,
there's a question in chat about how Julian's mum is doing. Have you heard anything?
Question from CC, yes.
Christine said she was well. She's in good health, and you know, she's decided to withdraw from making public statements for a while. I think that she did a tremendous job of that, and so did Susie. We went through a weekend together that was, as I related before, pretty tough going to get the thing written in a way that Christine felt would be convincing, and also the actual delivery of it, which was pretty torturous as well, to get that just right. So, I mean, I spent 12 hours with her, and I don't know how long Susie spent, but it was the whole day before, apparently, to get about half of it written. So I think that she really did need to take a break.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that she's not still with us, and probably keeping an eye on everything. Yes. Unfortunately, Susie too has had to kind of look after her family due to dreadful financial circumstances caused by PayPal blocking donations. And they've done it again. They did it to Julian Assange, to WikiLeaks. The financial extrajudicial WikiLeaks was worldwide. And I even shot a film about it in Australia, where one of the WikiLeaks supporters rang MasterCard and spoke to a guy called David Masters, funny enough, and wanted to know who had ordered the financial blockade. And on the phone, this is a very old man, Andrew Partos, his name was, but credible, you know. We saw him on national television asking questions on Q&A. Very articulate man, very much printed in the letters to the paper. I think he'd had 4,000 something letters printed. So an important member of the community, but he swears to us that David Masters said that it was Julia Gillard and Nicola Roxon. So that was our Prime Minister and our Attorney General who issued the order.
CC just wanted to say regarding Christine Assange.
Yeah. Good
to hear. Please pass on our love and support to her and to Julian, if at all possible.
I will. I can send her a message still, but
from all of us, yes.
I will. Yes, definitely. She's okay. She's okay. You know, there was that moment. One of the things I said to her, because it was so difficult to get that emergency statement out, delivered, born, if you like. And one of the things that I kept saying to drive her on was, it's your moment now, Christine. You know it's your moment, and you have to do this. And she said, yes, I know. So it's much our moment at the moment, because the movement is powering along. The mods are doing pretty well. We had some little hiccups when it was a bit of a reshuffle in the stream team, but I know that people behind the scenes have been fixing that. It was just a question of basically insufficient bandwidth to assure that continuous stream. And we do apologize. How has the stream been today? Kitty, how's it working today?
It's been working better. My modem is not available for 2 weeks, unfortunately. So we're running off David's PC today.
Right.
And we had a few little, technical things we had to work out at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's running perfectly now. And there's no buffering or sound issues or anything. So.
That's fabulous. That's really great. So it looks like we're going to be fine for the vigil.
Absolutely. Yeah. The only technical issues are really that we're still figuring some things out in terms of, the configurations, and David and I are both learning the software. So we are relying heavily on Joe.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep it all working and get it all going. So yeah, at the moment we're conservatively running at 20 frames a second, and that we should be able to improve on that. So you shouldn't get this sort of stuttering video that's been happening. And we'll get there, and certainly should be there for the vigil as well. So yeah, we'll improve things, and we'll probably even have a backup and redundancy by the time of the vigil.
Joe, you look like a bit of a gilet jaune today, except it's orange instead of yellow. I've just been learning, reading, because I speak French as well as English. So I've been looking at a lot of programs and, commentary on what's happening in France at the moment. And something quite exciting is happening this Saturday. And that is that the gilet jaune, or yellow, there's sort of a high vis jackets. Every motorist in France is required to carry one of those in their car. Did you know that? So that's why they've put on these high vis jackets, and everyone seems to have one. But what they're doing on Saturday is they are merging with the climate movement. And so they're going to march in solidarity with, it's a climate march this Saturday for the climate. And we were talking, we've been talking off the air about doing a segment of Vigil in French with one of our people. I don't really know if I should mention his username in Discord, but certainly been a long time supporter, publisher, independent publisher and supporter of Julian Assange in France. And I've also sent an invitation to Jeremy Zimmerman, who is one of part of the cypherpunk movement and appears in Julian's The World Tomorrow. So, I think that is one of the keys. One of the, I'm going to say it exactly, what we do, right, is we've started a movement that is based on a single issue, right? Thus, its success right across the political spectrum. Well, they have done exactly the same thing. That's what the political analysis in France is, is saying, that it's that there are no affiliations in either movement for equality or the climate. No political parties involved at all. In fact, they drive them away, and it's very much European politics is very much dominated by the single issue movement, which is a proven success, as we can demonstrate as well. So there you go. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's great. So the gilet jaune.
Jaune means young.
Oh, so I thought it was green.
No, jaune is yellow.
Yes. Yeah, there's the maillot jaune.
Yeah.
For the Tour de France is the
that's right, the yellow shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
I used to live in France. I speak a little French. Not like you though, but
No, I lived there for a very, very long time, and I'd spoken it for 8 years before I went there. So 22 years of speaking French. Yeah, I just became totally bilingual after living there for about 10 years.
Yeah, oh, it's a lovely country.
We certainly should make sure we do have a French video, one of these ones in the weekend that we've been running. We could run a French one, or alternatively run it at any other time. It's fantastic.
It's pretty poor, Joe. Just
yeah, so. I know. I apologise. I'm back on my my headset.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thoroughly in support of it, and if set a date, and I'll certainly turn up and make it happen.
Oh, that's lovely. Yes, you know, I felt that we should reach out more to people in other languages. We certainly have by bringing Jose Rivera in every week now as a regular reporter from Ecuador, and he's able to build that bridge, you know, with the Spanish-speaking world, and really helped us to understand much better what is going on in Ecuador, because I mean, even the people of Ecuador don't know as much as what we know now, especially about glass. Yeah, they don't know that the people, that their vice president is on a hunger strike still. I just find this amazing.
Yeah.
And systems like this, they get so tight. And that's been, you know, the pathway of Emmanuel Macron in France, is to really tighten things up. You know, at one point it just has to give, and it gives, the more oppressive it is, the more explosive. Although, you know, what's happening in France, the French have got this long tradition of tearing up the pavements. You know, that's, they've done they're professional at, you know, from the Paris Commune, and then, you know,
students, farmers.
Yeah, the 1968 revolution, riots in the street. They were tearing up the cobblestones. I mean, they really, they choose their targets very well. You know, they block, which is something that they didn't really take good control over with back in the years of the 10 years of the Paris Commune. They didn't take the banks, but they've sort of learned their lesson. Plus, they, you know, at the other end of the spectrum, they draw all of the people in, regardless of their, you know, they don't want to vote for anybody anymore. They're saying that we're sick of being represented. And in a way, we you know, there are so many movements that have this common cause, a common perception of things, very often because it's the same people up the top that are responsible both for destroying the environment and creating this massive inequality in the world. War.
Corporations.
Yeah, these are the people that WikiLeaks needs to expose. You know, the people wouldn't know a lot of this without WikiLeaks. It's been the most significant organization in the world for delivering a whole new consciousness to the people of what was happening for centuries, you know, eons.
You put it very nicely, Kathy.
Behind closed doors.
Speaking of WikiLeaks, we have a question from Tim Buck 2.
Oh, very nice name. I love it.
I know, it's cute. Has Julian's lawyers filed a lawsuit against the BBC yet?
Well, I don't know about the BBC, but they certainly did against. They certainly mounted the crowdfunder, which is doing very well. Raised over £30,000, I think, in the first day, to sue the Guardian for the Luke Harding and Dan Collins article, which was also written by Villa Vincencio. Was on the article originally. Oh my God, it's so dodgy when you think about the general context of Ecuador and all these false claims about corruption, and just, you know, with the sole purpose of shutting people up. But, you know, certainly the BBC are the other enemy of WikiLeaks. I mean, it's been horrendous, the reporting from the BBC and slander that has come out of the BBC as well. And, you know, Julian talked about this back, I think, in 2012, not long before he went into the embassy. There was a big rally at St. Paul's in London, and he talked about London as the libel. He said financial corruption stops here. Right? This is where it comes. And he talked about libel tourism. So people, very wealthy media moguls, for example, or politicians, people can come from all over the world to sue newspapers, journalists in London. So a lot of newspapers, finally, if they weren't that financial, and let's face it, the printed media is sort of, they wouldn't say anything because they would be sued. But the other side of the coin is, people who have, who are themselves on the other side by the media. It is the most in Europe. In fact, in London, it times more expensive against libel than anywhere else in continental Europe, which is just bloody amazing. It's just gone completely out of control. So, they places like the BBC, quite wealthy. Not so much the Guardian. They're not so cashed up. But at the same time, they have just felt so confident about saying anything they like. And, I think Luke Harding's and even David Lee's association with the intelligence services are just, very, there's a long history there. So really, it's there. He is a mouthpiece. So, yeah, I don't know about the BBC, but the big news, I don't know if you guys have talked about this already. The big news is that round 2 is coming soon in terms of the request, the demand, in fact, to unseal the indictment against Julian. And in fact, the legal team put in a very, very good submission, and I just wrote a little article about commentary on that, but I haven't published it yet. I have on Facebook, but not in my blog or anything, so I could embed it in Twitter. But they put up a bloody good defense that there was absolutely, they didn't have adequate. The court did not have adequate justification to keep that indictment sealed simply because Julian was not in custody. And they said that the court asked for further, evidence or precedents they were really looking at for the unsealing, but the WikiLeaks legal team retorted that it was up to the court to give a precedent where ever been kept secret in history just because somebody was not in custody. So that's about to come up again. They were given a week to respond, so now there's going to be a second hearing. I'm not exactly. Does anybody know exactly which day it's going to be?
There was a 7-day delay, wasn't there?
Yes, 7 days, and it's Judge Brinkema, right? Yes. It's the same old crony that reserves all these types of cases for herself, and who put John Kiriakou away. And last time, I believe one of us played Kiriakou's speech. Was it you, Bruce?
Yes.
Yeah, you know exactly what Julian could expect in a court like that. It's a bloody show trial. But, what I wrote about was that, hey, we really do have to, the Washington Times wrote a reasonable report of this, I found, except that there seemed to be a typo, or it was actually a grammatical error. It just said that Julian would be arrested upon... And I went, well, existing what, And I thought that, it seemed, I don't know, arrested upon existing, British law, arrested upon existing. Well, right, no, I think it's an omission, maybe an accidental one, or maybe there's a darker, what most people would do when reading missing word was charges, which of course it's not. And, I see... the comments of Greg Barnes ruling after appeal to maintain that arrest warrant, which is related to a now defunct case. It's been Sweden has made 2017. That to willfully maintain that arrest for what? With the bail breach. But goodness gracious, Christine Assange has pointed out that they would not, because of the 1951 Refugee Convention. You can't, the courts can't impose a punishment. So, somebody who, asylum. Seeking from without any charges standing against them. So it's not, being arrested into jail. I mean, and my commentary in that article was, you have to be careful what you say these days. So I presented a two-sided argument. So I said the British arrest warrant conveniently serves their allies' purpose. Others argue that it is impeding US justice by forcing Mr. Assange, because it's pushing him custody from where he would have of escaping, even if they never charge him. He can be extradited without a prima facie case. He can be locked up immediately in America under the NDAA with no charges. So, this is from coming out. The British are stopping it. US justice, and we have this sort of this impasse that has been caused, who, we can say they're coordinating, but they're not. They're doing a bloody terrible job to, close this case and bring justice. We're looking at this child. So it's been 7 years, over 7 years that they've at all, because he's not in custody. And one has to then question that. Trying to charge a foreign has published, not in your own country, but in a third country, is forcibly going to cause delays, because it relies on that third to place that person in custody for whatever pretext. And that's exactly what's happened. The allies have lined up to oblige. Each time it just hasn't been enough, because it's been fuck all. Excuse me, I'm swearing on nothing to that. The Swedish case was insubstantial. Prime Minister Julia Gillard saying that she's a lawyer. She's a lawyer, and she compromises her reputation. She's willing to do that for America and say that Julian Assange has committed a crime. This is immediately after Cablegate. And 10 days later, the Australian Federal Police publicly announced that their Prime Minister was wrong, right? So you've got this kind of irregularity in the law all along the line, things that shouldn't happen. WikiLeaks, it's like it doesn't even matter if they win, because bloody minded about maintaining this impasse. And they don't even realize that if they actually enter American court and, did what they're supposed to do, right, then, then a man would not be getting tortured. Finally, when Ecuador came in, it turned into as Chris Hedges said, of horrors. So there you go. That's my take on what's coming, and I feel fully confident now in the RCFP, Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press, that they feel they are doing the right thing and pushing for the opening of this one, because this is the best one to open, because it is. They are saying this tradition of charges only after in custody does not trump. Oh, I shouldn't use that word. Does not override the people's constitutional right to know. As far as the WikiLeaks lawyers are, as the RCFP lawyers are concerned, very much a First Amendment issue. And, if it turns out it is, my God, the UN said that Julian needs to be compensated. Can you imagine if that really happened? How big we then? If he were compensated by each country that has stuffed him around and killed his bloody career. Isn't it ironic that this First Amendment case even though it never proceeds, it still successfully extinguishes the voice of a journalist.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a bit of a rant, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about something completely different, Kathy? Like videos?
Yeah, sure. Yes. What? Yes. Go ahead.
Well, I'm happy to. It'd be great to get an update on your video that you're doing.
The documentary?
Yes.
We don't have a platform anymore. Everything was copied to a server, but it was the same person who was doing the streaming.
Oh.
I also tested the editing system, Frame.io, and I found, sadly, that the upload speeds were just to their server were incredibly slow. It was saying 3 hours.
Yes, I saw that, yes.
3 hours for 135 megabytes. Hello, despite their claims in the clip. And then it was impossible to test the system editing from your own high bandwidth editing, so, you know, hard drives and
yes.
Server, I should say, unless you already joined up and paid a significant amount of money in advance. It was impossible to test it properly. You could only test editing from their servers to a maximum of 2 gigabytes of upload. And so I couldn't really proceed because, you know, that was clearly not viable. I saw in, you know, the first 5 minutes, and then they took about 2 weeks to get back to me. And they said that, no, I could only test it from our own servers if we signed up. And then, you know, what if it doesn't work then? So it was, yeah. But then we lost the server as well. So I'm actually communicating with that person at the moment. I've been for the last couple of days. Not going to go into any details, but it's just a bit of a, you know, try to arrange something.
I mean, at first glance, the editing software looked
terrific, but then the first thing was that our upload speeds are 5 times faster than normal. But that wasn't true at all. They were about 20 times slower.
Oh wow.
So, you know, one attempt, but my upload speeds here from my house are very, very slow. So, but it was still saying much more, 3 hours for 135 megabytes. My line is not dial-up.
Wow. So people were sending in short clips, weren't they, about their experiences with Unity for J?
Yes, absolutely. They're in the Doco discussion group on Discord. There's I can see about half a dozen of people reporting from outside the White House, which is rather nice. It was, you know, they uploaded all of their takes.
Cool.
But not so many personal statements. Hello, I'm Kathy Vogan. I'm a video artist, and now I'm a citizen journalist as well since 2010. I've done this, blah, 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 blah. This is what I do, right? But I also go to the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade and occupy the joint until they give us an answer. Well, I went there to film that. I filmed, you know, a lot of live events for WikiLeaks as well, and I filmed John Pilger's speech, and people like to trust the person who's filming, so I often get the call, you know.
Yes.
So I've got a bloody amazing amount of material to put into the doco myself, you know, just from me. But and those are archives that are there in reserve if ever we want to quote from this one or that one.
Oh yeah, I should find your
the WikiLeaks tapes.
Yeah.
Well, see, that was a very, very similar project, and there's 3 medium length documentaries in that collection, and one of them is called Crimes of Obedience, and that's what I did with mainly Daniel Ellsberg,
yes.
but also Noam Chomsky,
yeah,
and
wonderful groups. So,
Nozomi House, and John
yes.
Pilger. So that
From
one
back in 2013, I hadn't realized that Nozomi was so prominent way back then.
Oh yes. Nozomi was prominent with the writing about the Occupy and Anonymous movements.
Although Kathy, instead of just talking about it, shall we find those? In fact, I'd like to do a tiny little demonstration, if I may.
Play a little bit of crimes of obedience, if you like. The first 5 minutes is really worthy, because Daniel Ellsberg and Noam Chomsky and Julian Burnside, a Queen's counsellor in Australia, have some very, very significant things to say about what's going on right now with the judge that they want released. That's why I brought that back to the public view, because that is the period it's about, and these are the issues that they explain very well.
Yes. So if I'm correct, you posted that on the Twitter channel of Discord, right?
No, I published it on Twitter. It's actually published on YouTube. Do you want me to find it for you?
No, I wanted to find it on Discord as like a demonstration of how Discord server works. But I'm sure you posted it on a Twitter channel and Discord, and I said it's a treasure trove. Remember that?
Yes, that's right. I wouldn't take it from that channel, because that was the mods channel.
Was that?
I think so.
That was the Twitter channel, I think. I'll tell you what, I'll look on the Twitter channel.
Oh, maybe it was the Twitter one. Then that's fine.
Demonstration. Okay.
All right.
Sure. So this is like a demonstration of how the Discord server works. So Kathy posted something that I remember was on here. So now I'm trying to find it. So, oops. Okay, so I've got on the Discord server, which anyone can join by going to unityforj.com/Discord. And it's got 3 columns. And at the moment, I'm in the timeout channel because that's the last one I was in. But I want to get to the Twitter channel. So the left-hand column includes the Twitter channel. So these are all the different areas where people have interests and work. I find the Twitter channel, go to it. This is the most recent tweets. Now, Kathy, some time ago, posted, here's Kathy Vaughan's avatar that I recognize. Who? And I just find...
No, it's Treasure Trove Part 1, actually.
Oh, you want Treasure Trove Part 1?
Part 1. That's the one.
Something, and this is my reply. What a treasure trove, Kathy Vaughan. And this is your tweet. This is your post here that I remember. So there might be some material here that interests you. And so this is how we work. This is not staged or anything. This is how we work in the Discord server. So I just need to click on this and open the link, and I can find. Shall I look at Treasure Trove Part 2 as well?
No, one. Just one for the moment. Yeah. 2 is is wider issues. It's Edward Snowden. It's Julian in 2016. Sorry, it's not 2016. 2013 in Australia.
Yeah.
I mean via not Zoom but Skype.
Yes.
And I was there on the other end in Sydney, filming and helping organise that tour, of him talking to Australia. Here we go. That's the one. So if you go right up to the top of that playlist,
yes,
you'll find the breaking news is there. That's the one that I have on my pinned to my Twitter page. Then that's got a lot of views now through Twitter. Just brought down to just under 2 minutes, but we don't need to watch that again. Everybody's, I think, seen it. Okay. And then Christine's emergency statement, and then crimes of obedience, where we actually then listened to her. I've tried to sort of put it together as a kind of a meaningful playlist. So we, after listening to Christine, then we jump into the backstory with Crimes of Obedience. And Crimes of Obedience is significant because Christine asked me to make it as an intro to the WikiLeaks and Democracy tour of Australia. That was a tour of conferences, right? I spoke at the one in Adelaide, but when Crimes of Obedience was first shown in Sydney, and Christine was there in Sydney, I was still overseas filming. But rushed this together very quickly for the intro to that series.
But Kathy, this is 43 videos. So did you do all of these videos?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's why I said treasure trove. So this is an amazing resource for anyone interested in Julian Assange.
Well, you can see there that there's me talking on the vigil. Of course, I didn't do that. I just participated.
Yes.
But yeah, generally there's only one, I think, in that playlist that Democracy Now! Gave me a stream for. So I thank them. But that's Julian talking to Zizek in London, which is an incredibly informative talk. It's just brilliant, Zizek, and God knows where it is in the list.
Yes, Nozomi, that was very interesting. But
yes. Oh, there's a private video there. I must open that one up. I don't know why it's private. But anyway, I'll change that setting.
Might be a copyright issue or something.
No. It says private. That's my settings.
Oh, okay. And there's another one.
Yeah.
Did you have any idea with Jim? But did you want to play the third one?
A bit of Crimes of Obedience. Yes, definitely. Okay. And make it full screen.
So and shall I pass the link on to people in the Twitter channel can probably find this link, but it's a wonderful resource.
Yeah, well, put out the playlist as it is, because for people who want that backstory, because we're very much focused on that period now in the US court. Then I think this is probably one of the. I think I made over 80 films. Did you share your sound?
I think so. I was wondering that.
Burden of proof is needed to establish that.
Can you take it back?
In general, revealing to the public what the government is up to, I think is a very good thing. It's rarely done.
I'll take it back to the start, sorry.
Yes, please.
Imagine cases where secrecy is required, but a pretty strong burden of proof is needed to establish that. And in general, revealing to the public what the government is up to, I think is a very good thing. It's rarely done.
Yes, Noam Chomsky.
Can you move your cursor?
Someone uploaded a lot of material to WikiLeaks.
Yes.
The material that was uploaded had been improperly acquired from the US government. The most explosive of that material was footage which showed innocent civilians in Baghdad being slaughtered by an American helicopter gunship, and then a family who came to help them being slaughtered in their turn. The material became public because the site to which that stuff was uploaded was WikiLeaks. There is no offence involved in publishing that material on WikiLeaks, no matter that it was obtained improperly. There's no offence involved in publishing it in the New York Times, in the London Times, in the Sydney Morning Herald, or any other press outlet for the same reason. Even though the original source may have been illegal, republishing it is not illegal. That was established in the United States Supreme Court in the 1970s in the Daniel Ellsberg case concerning the Pentagon Papers.
Cool. That'll do. Alrighty, so Daniel, you had something to show me. A book.
Oh, that was just, I'll show you the book, yeah. Go down there.
You call it the den down here?
No, office.
Just your office, yeah.
Former.
Oh, so many books in here too.
Yeah, this is where my 11, then we've got a whole other room of books.
Oh wow! Look at the titles: Cold War, bombing civilians. Hey Daniel, did you hear the really good news last night?
No.
You know that film Incident in New Baghdad?
I don't.
It's a film that is about Ethan McCord, and he was the soldier on the ground that
I know, yeah.
rescued the two children.
Mm-hmm. But there's a film about it?
Yes, a short film, and it's won a whole lot of awards. It's been nominated for an Oscar.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Daniel Ellsberg. There may be complex reasons why governments lie, and senators vote for things they do not personally agree with. Even you and your boss, Robert McNamara, back in the 60s, would say yes, contrary to gut feeling, because his superior was going along with it. Stanley Milgram's 1961 experiments on obedience were devised to answer the question, was it that Eichmann and his accomplices in the Holocaust had mutual intent, in at least with regard to the goals of the Holocaust? Was there a mutual sense of morality among those involved? Milgram's testing suggested that it could have been that the millions of accomplices were merely following orders despite violating their deepest moral beliefs. The results of his experiments were quite literally shocking. Repeated many times in many situations over the years, they revealed that 61 to 66% of people would inflict severe physical harm on another if instructed to do so by someone in a position of authority. An interesting variable emerged, however. When the victim's physical immediacy was increased, the participants' compliance decreased. Whistleblowing obviously makes the victim's plight more real, and many report that their activism, largely in the form of citizen journalism, began after viewing the WikiLeaks film Collateral Murder. In your opinion, does the informational wealth and immediacy of the internet, live streaming in particular, take things that one vital step forward in terms of the viewer's potential for empathy?
Evil, my God, genocide, Bush, Constitution, democracy. Some of these things are almost antiquated, aren't they? Constitution.
Constitution, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Constitution.
Oh, massacre. Goodness gracious. Obedience. This might be the section we're looking for.
This is the book I was mentioning to you, but this is very relevant to the Milgram stuff you were talking about, Crimes of Obedience.
Yeah.
By Kelman and Helen. You don't know that? And here's the Milgram. These are just a few notes on obedience.
My God.
This is a talk I gave like this. Oh, this Milgram stuff that I did. I have whole boxes of notes on the obedience experiments because they were so important to me.
Yeah. Do you think they're unethical?
Oh, no.
The experiment requires that we continue. Go on, please.
Don't the man's health mean anything?
Whether the learner likes it or not, we must...
But he might be dead in there. I mean, some people can't take the shock, sir.
Please continue.
I don't intend to be rude, but I mean, I think you should look in on him. All you gotta do is look at the door. If I don't get no answer, no noise, something I think has happened to the gentleman in there, sir.
We must continue. Go on, please.
You're gonna keep giving him, what, 450 volts every shot now?
That's correct. Continue. The next word is white.
Come on, fire. White. 450 volts. Shoot.
The Milgram experiments I became aware of as an explanation of something that had puzzled me very greatly from 1968 on. My friend Mort Halpern, he remarked to me that essentially the people who believed in what we were actually doing in the way of bombing Vietnam and the 500,000 troops we had there, he said the people who believe in that are Johnson, Walt Rostow, Dean Rusk, and Westmoreland in the military. And he said, that's all. So I said, so we sat there, we each had very wide networks, trying to think of perhaps someone else that might fall into that, other than those four, and presumably there were some others that we didn't know. But we couldn't think of anyone else. And yet, 1968 was the heaviest bombing of the war. At that point, we 0.2 million tons of bombs on Indochina compared to 2 million in all of World War II. There were 4.5 million tons to go. 2 more World War IIs after the Tet Offensive, which convinced Walter Cronkite and nearly everybody else the war was stalemated, hopeless, and should be ended. And this was done by people, virtually all of whom knew that it was achieving no benefits whatever. So I had this great question in my mind, how could this be? I was doing what I could to get us out of there at that point. How could it be that people were dropping bombs and ordering the bombs, knowing that they were achieving nothing by doing so? As they did, nothing. They'd know, except, of course, kill a lot of people. Well, Milgram seemed to me to give a very strong answer to that. Basically, the Milgram experiment is, we can now see, from the perspective of a country that has engaged in explicit torture on a vast scale, we can see that it was an experiment in the motivation of torturers. That is, what does it take to get an ordinary person, or more or less chosen at random, to be a torturer? Because what is being done in the Milgram experiment is torture, although it's presented in a different frame. I've never seen in all the literature on this anyone draw attention to the fact that of all the thousands of subjects, and I would say now you have tens of thousands of people who've done this all over the world with pretty much the same results in culture after culture, not one is ever reported to have taken active steps to stop the experiment. And most, they stop their own participation. And remember, that is not put to them initially as an option. They have to go outside the terms to which they've agreed, which is to continue going on up to 450. They have to invent the idea of stopping, which a lot of them do eventually. No one seems to have invented the idea of saying, this can't go on. I'm going to report you. Who is your boss?
So Kathy, we ran. I mean, I think everybody's going to watch to the finish of that. That is just incredible. And Daniel Ellsberg is, you know, one of the most incredible heroes ever, isn't he?
I mean, what we're coming to is Daniel realizing that
your sound is poor, Kathy. Do you need to?
Okay, sorry about that. Yes. So, of course, what we have then is Daniel realizing that it's got to be him, right?
Yes.
Right. And
that's
then
a wonderful film, Kathy. Really, congratulations for doing that.
Yeah, thank you. But it's not just Daniel, you know. And then we jump to Nozomi with that famous quotation, you know, first they came for, etc.
Yes.
And that comes from her episode of the WikiLeaks tapes. That is in conjunction with the kind authorization of the music of Juice Media, who have been doing yes. fantastic clips. So they became friends first, and you know, I became friends with her as well, and then we all became friends with each other. And they said, "Sure, use anything you like." But she says that, and then we go to John Pilger and now Julian, and you know, there's from Sydney, Australia, you know, where there's 2,000 people gathered in the town hall in support yes. of Julian. They're out on the streets. There was massive demonstrations here in support of Julian yes. at the time that this Bradley Manning thing happened, you know, because everybody got behind the First Amendment, that fundamental idea that Daniel is explaining, that there just has to be whistleblowers. There just has to be. And the horror of Vietnam, the meaninglessness of it that went on, the pointlessness of it for 7 more years after they realized, you know, and there was only a few people up the top who, you know, calling all the shots. I mean, we had to break this system. And, you know, the greatest, you know, there's the greatest whistleblower, I suppose, since Ellsberg was Chelsea Manning. And then Edward Snowden. And, you know, the great thing that came along was the platform that would actually publish what they were revealing to the world. The
yes.
common interest, public interest of vital importance to whole populations, which was, you know, it was a shield against so many, you know, almost a century of information operations. People, you know, companies like SCL, Cambridge Analytica, very much alive today around the world, and WikiLeaks is the shield.
Yes.
And we have to keep them even, you know, that's why I said we have to make them grow bigger than ever at the moment, because there has been the rise of the, you know, the infiltrators in terms of information operations. They hit social media starting in 2013, but really coming into full swing, you know, around 2016. Very, very influential incredibly influential in the Trump election. They were running the campaign, and the Leave campaign for Brexit. You know, all this kind of personalized behavioral micro-targeting, it is called, which is based on mass surveillance and dupery for people to give over more information about themselves and what they are realizing, to show their vulnerabilities. And this horrendous non-democratic process of targeting the most vulnerable and gullible people in the electorate to get their vote. It you know, it does, you know, make a fine science of you know, the marginal seat targeting. We thought that was that was acceptable. Although, you know, other places said, well, what about us? You know, why didn't Hillary Clinton come to Wisconsin, for example, which was one of the ones that the Dems lost, that they didn't expect. But you know, this insidious poisoning of the grassroots has been happening since they decided to get into, you know, the shadow government comes, and university sector together merges to become deep state, right? Private entity.
Part of it, yes.
And then gets into the business of selling their services to elections. And we're staffed, you know. They actually looked after the PR campaign of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Oh, he's a reformer. That was their campaign. And they were working in Brazil and China as well.
These are two topics that you're an expert in, Julian Assange and sort of Cambridge Analytica.
Well, it's no accident, because I see them as polar opposites.
Oh, yeah, that was my question. Also, why the two topics?
Keep your enemies closer. Enemy to truth. They inject lies into the bloodstream of the internet. Chris Wiley told us.
WikiLeaks is the antidote.
They inject truth. Simple, right? Black and white, if you like. It's as simple as that. Know your enemy. Know the insidious thing, the power of propaganda as it has become today. We have to enforce the power of truth. That's the meaning of our movement, as well as rescuing the person responsible for building this platform that enabled whole populations to know the truth.
Yes.
Kathy, we have another question for you.
Right.
This is from Simon, who is currently in Zoom chat. His question was just hoping to ask Kathy a quick question, if it won't be too late after this clip, which is great. Oh, well, he's in chat there. So I'm just going to tell him that, yes, he can ask.
Is he going to
bring him in?
Yeah, can he come in? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this Simon Fluff, is it?
Yeah, he's in waiting to be brought in.
Oh, thank you. You should be asking me. Apologies. I hope you weren't there for too long, Simon. I'm just promoting you to a panelist.
Hey, Simon.
Simon, I just saw you now.
So we're actually over time officially, but we also started, what, at least 40 minutes, maybe 50 minutes late, Kitty? I don't know. So I'm not sure how to call it. We'll probably go somewhere in the middle, maybe finish in about 20 minutes, do you think? Or we'll see how it goes anyway.
What the hell? What the hell?
You're muted, Simon, at the moment.
All right. Yeah, I just want to quickly ask Kathy, because you were speaking about Jose's information about George Glass, and I didn't quite get it clear what you said you were thinking of working on in connection with that. It was a video or something?
No, not a video, but just simply to get his daily image of the count of the number of days out in English.
Yes, okay.
Translated, because people don't, that doesn't even have the function of Jorge Glass. We don't know who he is in English. People don't know Ecuador. They have no clue who it is. And they're not, they don't, I don't think they would understand hunger strike. They wouldn't guess it from what it is in Spanish.
From those images, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 44 days or 45 days, they might guess that. Yeah. But the rest is not getting out there to the world, and we have to do it in English.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I've jumped on and asked the question. I've had the same concern, and we've been talking about it. And the WikiBees thing with Jose's connection is one of the, basically the only link, it seems to be, of real-time information coming, between the Spanish and English-speaking world on these important issues. So that's unfortunate. There's just so much news coming out, and that's why well, from Jose, and really the news is not coming out. He's just giving us a sort of a teaser, even though he's got so much to say and he's always on here, and that it's all so important. There's no stories coming out to the English-speaking world. And one piece of information I think I got from his stream recently was that there was a letter signed by various politicians around South America regarding George Glass and the situation with his hunger strike. So yeah, I was just trying to follow up there on what you had mentioned earlier. So it wasn't so much as a video project, which is something that would be really great.
Well, one very important thing that we've heard from the Spanish-speaking world this week is the statement from Fidel Naves, who was the consul, chief. He was running the embassy from until from July 2012 to July 2018, and he made a very clear, definitive statement that Paul Manafort had never visited the embassy. It kind of was the final nail in the coffin of the Guardian story. That I would really, really hope to be hearing a little bit more from Fidel. It'd be good. Maybe we should send a message out to him. We would love to have him.
Yeah.
And also the who was the guy? You know, the one I cut down the speech off. It was the foreign minister. He was French origin. Yeah, that guy is.
Ricardo, was it? Ricardo?
No, Guillaume Long.
Oh, okay.
So a beautiful man.
You mentioned that before, yeah.
Yeah, Guillaume Long. His statement is really worth listening to. It's just, it is the 4-year anniversary of Julian's stay in the Ecuadorian embassy. So we're still in under Correa government, and Guillaume Long is the foreign minister, and he turns up at the embassy on the 4th anniversary for Julian's kind of dark birthday, and makes a beautiful speech about reaffirms why Ecuador gave Julian an asylum. It's beautiful. So it would be really nice to hear from Guillaume Long and Fidel Naves, because they have clout. They are both former diplomats, very close to Julian. And
this is the kind of thing that we started the real-time journalism channel to try and facilitate. I think what I might have to do is really sit down and write a fairly long list of questions for information that could be used as the basis of an article in the near term to get out to English-speaking world. And I'm not sure if that overlaps with what you were just saying, but yeah, we can. It's just so frustrating that there's so many resources all lying around in different places, and they just need to get together to save the life of this elected vice president of Ecuador. And it would also it would just turn around the whole narrative and where to go.
That's right. Yeah, it's just, I mean, what's been happening to Julian is fairly typical. I think that's the one thing that the world doesn't really know, you know, and trolls are saying the opposite, that Correa was the dictator and he's wanted for crimes, for corruption, and Julian has to face justice. Oh, bullshit.
It seems that that's exactly the strategy, the narrative. This guy who is the third author on the Guardian article, you know, fabrication about Manafort. He apparently, according, I think it was the Jimmy
Slama.
Jimmy Slama, yes.
Yes, the website. He did a bit of a profile on him, and it seems that his history, what he's famous for, this guy, is being a reformer of the corruption under the Correa administration. But what it actually looks like is that that's just been the new type of political warfare, is that you accuse your enemies of being corrupt, and you know, lawfare is the word for what's been going on in Brazil with Lula getting put away, with the new guy coming in taking over, what's going on with everybody under Moreno in Ecuador, it looks like. Yeah, so it just looks like an extension of the same kind of thing, and this is the kind of, they're getting away with it. It's a serial fabricator. I mean, once somebody has done that, you know, faked a document, how on earth do they get away with being a credible operative in the political sphere and with being an advisor on Guardian articles and stuff like that? It's just so, it's almost comically facile. So I think that's something that, you know, this seems to be the first pushback against any of that kind of thing. It's an industry, and it's controlling our world, and it's so thin and fragile, it seems to me, in terms of what could be done to penetrate it. But
I just wanted to comment that Fernando Villavicencio was not credible, and that's why the Guardian actually removed his name from the authorship. It was published originally with his name on it, Harding, Collins, and Villavicencio. They took him off.
They knew it wasn't any good. The readers need to know. That's what we have to do.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we are so numerous, our digital army, that and so WikiLeaks legal team really are on the ball. So that's why we catch these things before they're modified. I mean, the Guardian, that slander article, that they rewrote quite a lot of it because they were panicking. You say, you know, it is fragile underneath the surface. They are, you know, I mean, but maybe count on the fact that it is so expensive. Libel, defending oneself against libel is so expensive. That really bolsters this kind of behavior as well. But the Guardian aren't so cashed up, and so they were. You could tell they were shitting themselves by taking that kind of credibility risk after your article's been attacked. You're modifying the evidence. But we've got screen grabs of all the original versions.
That's it. I mean, you know, in a war between truth and falsehood, truth's always got the advantage. You know, all other things being equal. It's just that other things aren't equal. There's so much power, there's so much money that we're up against. And another factor which helps them get away with things is that stories. Once the lie is out there, even if a retraction comes out, even if the truth comes out somewhere else, most people are just, you know, just the way things are, don't follow up on it. But you know, we can still make some headway, and we have to do our best with what we have. You know, we've got the GoFundMe thing to try and get some money raised for WikiLeaks to put the lawsuit through against the guy. And you know, we're doing our best here, but there's just so much more that we could be doing, and it's hard to make a start that's powerful on that, or take the next step, I suppose. And that's what the real-time journalism channel is trying to do. And yeah, like I said, I'll get on and try and put some questions together to get an article out in the near term about glass.
Were you going to actually write the article as well? Do you want to debate, and then you know, and we help you collect the evidence, and then you sign it? Do you have somewhere where it could be that would publish it?
Could do it that way. I've got an article coming out, I think, in the next couple of hours. It should be going up on Anti-War, just regarding Assange, and they've published something of mine before. I suppose so. There's also Disobedient Media, I imagine, is very receptive to this kind of thing, and probably Consortium News as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that would be a good outlet. And you know, Caitlin Johnson has been doing terrific work.
Yeah, I mean, she'd be fantastic for something like this. I struggle with writing on a journalistic sort of level. I'm more of an academic and sort of, you know, a bit convoluted. But I will, you know, I would make this a priority at the moment, even though I've got another thing on that's a bit of a priority. But
well, look, it's really, you know.
But if someone else wants to take it up, this is an appeal. You know, if Caitlin wants to do it, if Elizabeth wants to do it from Disobedient Media, if anybody wants to do it.
What we can do is get the information all together. So, you know, in terms of reach, Caitlin is and Elizabeth have a very wide reach at the moment. WikiLeaks have been retweeting Caitlin's work, which has just been brilliant of late. So, you know, that's our primary concern. What's the biggest platform that we can get this on, rather than who signs it?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll put some thought into some questions for the basic material to get on paper from Jose.
Yeah.
And maybe we can take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to work on that with you.
And your suggestions about those the two people you mentioned earlier, the speech, and Fidel, and I forgot the name of the other guy.
Guillaume Long.
That's why it's a bit French for me. Guillaume Long. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you maybe you mention that on the channel there as well, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'd like to get either of those or both on the vigil.
Yeah.
That would be great. But yeah, I think it's. I got the invitation. Are you going to be on the vigil this weekend?
Yeah, I intended to reply to that. Get the link. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good lineup, and plus it's all in together, boys and girls.
I might just be a spectator if we got some more impactful people on. That's fine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you know, I'll just sit there and spoke when I'm spoken to. Yeah, it's really, you know, as you saw just before, it is just really amazing to listen to Daniel Ellsberg.
That was fantastic. It was a really great clip that you had there.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Is there a link to that somewhere?
Yeah, I can. You go
Someone
to
tweet it, right?
Yeah, you got to
tweet that. That'd be great.
I have tweeted it, but I can tweet it again.
Or from Unity, from Jay. I think everybody would.
Yeah. Let's tweet that one out. Maybe just.
I'll do it right now, actually.
And actually, you know what I've been doing, Bruce? I've actually been going to the playlist and then clicking on that film and then sharing that link, because what happens is that after it's finished, then it continues with the rest of the playlist.
Oh, yes, excellent, yes.
So straight after, after Pilger's amazing lyrical moment, then we go straight to Town Hall in Sydney with him on the barricades. It's so good. Jump to the present day.
I was there, by the way, Kathy.
Were you at Town Hall?
I made it. I actually wanted to meet Pilger and did very briefly afterwards. But yeah, it was good. I was a bit disappointed with the numbers, but you make a start somewhere. I suppose it could have been worse. But,
yeah, I mean, look,
it was a fantastic speech.
Yeah, that's right. And, he didn't mind me coming up the steps and just being crouched underneath him. He'd asked me to film it.
Yeah. I didn't realize who you were at the time, but I did see somebody walking around with a camera. And in retrospect, I realized that must have been you. But,
oh, I was hiding. The crowd couldn't see me. I was behind the wall.
Oh, maybe there's
someone. I was, it looked almost indecent how close I was, crouched down. And
so I've just tweeted it, Simon.
Turned around, quite a number of times to face my camera, which was really good. And then I had someone else in the crowd, so we had two cameras. It was politics.
That must have been the person I'm mistaking for you then. Yeah.
Yeah. They were all up the back, and they were getting the crowd. That's why you go right up next to the speaker so that the sound of their voice is good. Never film the demo from the back of the crowd.
Although the crowd was quite vocal, including me, actually. No, I wasn't vocal. I was just clapping loudly. That's fine.
Yeah, well, there was just a little bit too much heckling as well. And the Socialist Equality Party, who had organised it, they were very worried about the heckling. And it was really, really bad before John started. And he were going up there, and there was one really bad heckler, and it was one of our people from politics in the pub. And I said to John, "I'll deal with him. Don't worry."
Is that the guy that said the Zionist puppet every 3 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And he was so hyper excited, I couldn't even keep him under control. But he did actually shut up as soon as Pilger came on. But
so this is the clip you're talking about, right?
This is the one.
Yeah, where that lady is, I'm kind of between her and Pilger, but about where the word equality
is. Is that you? Maybe that's
no. I'm right beside Pilger, just to his right, just below him, crouching down behind the banner.
Oh, right. All right. Are you? Can you be seen in any of this?
No, of course I can't. I wasn't going to ruin the film with me. It's not about me. I even crouched going up the steps, because I just didn't want other people to start coming up there and crowding him,
Yes.
But also not to draw attention. But John knew he knew I was going to come up.
Yeah. So this is I think the 4th movie from your fantastic playlist, and I've just tweeted it out. One of the live tweeters can do a much nicer job if they want, but anyone can find the link on the tweet. Even you, Simon, actually, you can still read my tweets. You just can't tweet if you're not on Twitter. So it does have its occasion.
When you say your tweets, you mean Unity for J or Bruce King?
Either one. Oh, yeah, you're right. It was under Unity for J. Oh, it's a Unity for J tweet. Yes. But the fact that you brought up the movie with Daniel Ellsberg, who's an absolute hero, Kathy. Just today, I was talking with one of the people in Unity for J. I'll screen share it also. It's I hope she doesn't mind. I hope she's not embarrassed. But Helena Jenny is one of the people in Unity for J and one of the graphic artists. And look what she's been doing. She's been doing a whole lot of little short movies, 2 minutes tweeting Twitter directly about Daniel Ellsberg. A whole lot of them. And you can see they've been retweeted to Unity for J.
Fantastic.
Wonderful. And this in general was what I've been, well, I suppose lots of us, but me personally, I think it's strongly feel that this is a wonderful way to raise the issues of Julian Assange and whistleblowers, and in a very positive way. You know, you can only, obviously we can fight the smears and things and the stories in the Guardian and all that, but here it's just direct and pure, positive story of what these heroes have done. Frankly, heroes have done, and their importance. And this clip, Helena Jenny has combined clips from different movies. This is from our vigil, Unity for J vigil, where Susie Dawson interviewed Daniel Ellsberg. A great privilege to interview the great man. And I
was going to say, besides Crimes of Obedience, there's another couple of films that I did with Daniel. One, so this is back in 2000, so one in particular is called The Importance of Whistleblowing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You see, your movies as well, I mean, we should just get them out there, Unity for J, and anyone able to tweet out Kathy's movies. And these tweets, I really like this format where it's simply a tweet. Click on the movie.
I can't regret having done what
and it's so immediate.
I knew at the time to be what I ought to do, my duty as a citizen. I have no way that I can regret that.
You said you were willing to accept any responsibility or anything that came for your part in the Pentagon Papers. The latest indictment says a 115-year prison term and a $120,000 fine for maximum. Are your thoughts still the same, that you're willing to accept any consequences?
I have two thoughts about that. I go back to my earlier answer. How can you measure the jeopardy that I'm in? Whether it's 10 years, 20 years, 115 years, or other ludicrous amounts like that. To the penalty that has been paid already by 50,000 American families here and hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese families. It would be absolutely presumptuous of me to pity myself in that context, and I certainly don't, and I'd be ashamed of myself.
So how's that?
That was absolutely great, and that's from her wonderful collection in that Moments link that she put out, the deep state in power since the 60s, something like that. I would really advise people to look at that. And I've actually looked at the collection, but she said that she is adding to it every day. And in a way, this is our documentary, because this is assembling in real time all of the most appropriate stuff. And at the moment, I think what we should be pushing out there is defending the First Amendment. That is the real, anything to do with the First Amendment right now, because this it's hotting up in the US court. I mean, the legal team seem pretty certain that it's a First Amendment issue, and that's where we win.
Yes. It's interesting. Some people, the anti-war side of it resonates. I'd say probably us. Other people, the legal side of it resonates. So you say Julian Assange is fighting for the First Amendment, and like these three-letter agency former heads who are trying to get him are attacking the First Amendment.
Yes, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And Daniel made it very clear on one of the Unity, in that interview, I think, with Susie, that if Julian goes down, the First Amendment goes with him, because this is if it goes forward, if they have the guts to try it on, because it's never worked before, prosecuting a publisher.
Yes.
But if they do, the Trump administration are foolish enough to take it on, they will not win. That people value their First Amendment even more than their Second Amendment. And this is what stops wars, as Julian pointed out.
Yes. I'm going to do. I'm going to do another little plug for a First Amendment, something that people here can easily do to push that issue of First Amendment, and I'll just share it now. And what it is a graphics artist called Somerset Bean who works closely with WikiLeaks, and this is his Twitter account. You go to his home graphics page, which is somersetbean.com, and he's got lots of posters on Julian Assange, but I'll take you to one that's on the First Amendment, if I can find it.
Yeah, well, Somerset Bean has been around since the beginning as well. Since 2011, we've been working together before, and he's another one who would have an amazing archive.
Yes. Okay, here it is. Download free Assange resources here. You have to click on this. This is how to get to it, and this is all of the free Assange resources, and it's at the bottom. So you just scroll down to the bottom, and what it is, it's a bumper sticker. Do you know it, Kathy, the bumper sticker?
I think I do, yeah. I was just going to say as well, if people didn't know, that the Bean is an Aussie.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, he's an Aussie, all right. Yeah.
So here it is, right at the bottom. So there you are, Kathy. Anyone can put that on their bumper.
Let's get that one out. That one is the one that needs to be really especially pumped out in the United States, because it says it all.
Yes.
That's the one. Simon likes talking with warrior women. That's what they used to call me and a few others here.
We're over time. Sorry.
Oh, I know. Maybe that's a great note to end on then, at that conclusion that we defend.
Yes. And also take a note, there are lots of things that we can do, like just do that bumper sticker to spread the word, which is what we need to do.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, it wouldn't be that expensive to, send it off online to your local printing shop, and just look it up and see if they do bumper stickers, and give them away to your friends these days. Something like that, it might,
That image could be used for a lot of things, actually. You could, make a smaller version of that for bookmarks. Do what Paula was doing, which is go to her public library on Saturday,
Brilliant. That's the one. Yeah. Operation.
You can stick it on your window,
Yes.
Yeah, that's a brilliant.
Defend the first. Okay, pleasure talking to you again.
Yes.
Well, I have to really go to leave because I'm going to fall over.
Yeah, so we'll close up. Yes.
Good night.
So good night, Kitty, and good night to everyone, and thanks for everyone who came on, and also everyone who watched, and apologies for the technical difficulties at the start. We're trying to get things sorted out. We've had a discontinuity in our technical side, and we're just trying to get over it. And so please bear with us, and really sorry about that today, but it turned out to be a good WikiBees meeting in the end. And remember, the vigil is in 2 days' time, exactly 2 days from this WikiBees. So it's Friday, 8 p.m. in EST time, which is either Eastern Standard or Eastern Summer, but it's New York time anyway, on Friday, the vigil. And it's, again, a 3-hour vigil, and you're all lumped in together, it sounds like, Kathy. I don't know.
Yes, and together. I really liked what you did last time as well, when we had a few technical difficulties at the beginning. You posted the link, Bruce, with the timestamp of where it officially starts. It might be good to get that one out as people are still online, and they can immediately retweet it for Unity for Jade. That would be really good, so people, any more audience don't have to go through that moan out.
You're talking about
this one, yeah.
This WikiBees,
yeah.
Oh yes, Oh yeah, it's important. So we have recorded this also. It takes several hours to get it uploaded to YouTube and processed, and it's going to appear on YouTube on Unity4J account in several hours' time.
All right. Oh, so we are not actually going out live. We are, aren't we? Aren't we going
yes,
out live?
I think people got a good stream. I think people were still on the YouTube channel giving comments. I think everyone was happy in the end, but it took like 40 or 50 minutes for us to get things sorted out at the start, which was a little disappointing. But it was because there was a discontinuity in our technical side.
Probably tweeting, we've got our motor running now. Come on board. Simon's here. Kathy's here.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's always a bit sort of, not exactly on the dot, but that's fine. With the clips and stuff going out, I think that really provide more spiritual aspect to this, because hear the artists sing, speak, the clips, the beautiful work, which is more reflective than real-time speech.
Yes.
So both are good. But let's send out that link again with it cleaned up a bit.
Yes.
Greatly. All right, I'm off.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.